of the things that I notice about people is most people really hate being told that they're wrong. You've heard the phrase, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Well, that's really true. People usually really hate being shown that they're wrong about something. Now, when I was a young kid, I had a pretty bad case of this, and I was pretty stubborn. And I would keep my mom at the kitchen table just for hours, arguing, and respectfully, of course, because I didn't want to get a spanking. But I would argue with her, trying to convince her why I didn't have a bad attitude or why I was justified calling my brother some bad names. Because you see, I was just trying to do to him what he did to me so he could know what it felt like. I wasn't being malicious. I'm just trying to help. He should thank me. And when I called him a butthead, it was for his own good. So surely you can see that, right? Well, my mom never bought any of that. And the truth is, I never really believed any of that stuff that I was saying. I just didn't want to own up to it. So I did what we all do sometimes, and I threw up some smoke screens, some excuses, and most of them pretty dumb, but that's what we do sometimes. When we get cornered, we'll say just about anything. We'll do just about anything to avoid the inevitable confession. Have y'all done this before? Have your kids done this before? I think we all have. And I just wanted to mention this because at the end of chapter 2, Paul told the Jews, hey, you're just as guilty as everyone else. But the Jew here, he isn't quite ready to give in. So he throws up some smoke screens, not going down without a fight. Smoke screens, they're excuses. They're not real reasons. It's just trying to do everything you can, everything possible to get out of this very uncomfortable situation. And there are 3 main smoke screens, and I'll call them 3 butts, B-U-T-S. Smoke screen number 1 goes like this. But if what you're saying is true, then my religion has all been for nothing. Verse number 1, what advantage then has the Jew? Or what is the profit of circumcision? In other words, Paul, if what you're telling me is true, and I, as a Jew, that I'm just as bad as the heathens, like I'm no different from everybody else, then man, what in the world was the whole point about being a Jew in the first place? Got all these laws, got all these scrolls I'm carrying around, trying to cross the T's and dot all the I's, busting my butt for God all these years, and it's just for nothing? Like, I'm just like everybody else? If that's true, then what's the advantage to being a Jew at all? And Paul answers, the advantage is much in every way. There's a big advantage, chiefly because to them, the Jews, were committed the oracles of God, or the laws of God. Of course, there's an advantage to being a Jew, to being a religious person, to living a moral life. Hey, you Jews have had the privilege of the words of God, of having the law of God. Now, it's true you can't keep all those laws, but there was a tremendous advantage to having it, because to the extent that you did follow it, even a little bit, you will experience blessings. There are countless blessings to following God's law. Let me give you just one example. You might remember that a terrible plague in the Middle Ages called the bubonic plague swept throughout Europe. And they say that about 1 in 3 people died. Makes Corona look pretty tame by comparison. But did you know that there were Jewish people who were, for the most part, unaffected by the plague? Everybody was dying all around, and somehow they remained healthy. Why was that? Well, the Jews adhered very strictly to certain dietary, certain hygienic practices according to the law of God. And that literally kept them from getting sick. There are blessings in obedience. Life quality goes up, relationships are better, finances are better. God's principles for life, they work. And the Jews had all of that. There is a tremendous advantage to being a religious Jew, and that is Paul's answer to smokescreen number 1. And of course, this totally satisfies the religious Jew, right? Not even close. He's got 2 more smokescreens that he's got ready to go, run right after the other. And we'll talk about what those are next time. See you then.